Well, SUNEX now has a complete new line of impact wrenches from a 3/8 drive all the way up to a 1-inch, 6-inch extended anvil, big rig type of impact wrench. Now, we definitely know the SUNEX name, especially when it comes to like impact sockets and even specialty impact sockets like universal pinless impact sockets like right here that are very handy. By the way, this is a 3/8 drive, very compact, and something very handy to use when you're trying to get out transmissions or whatever it is you're trying to do. Just great tools, and typically less expensive tools as well. And then a week or two ago, we reviewed the SUNEX screwdriver sets that come in foam as well. So they're already laser cut foam and even have the sizes on there for it. Anyway, we had a complete review of those. But now SUNEX is venturing into, again, upgrading their power tool selection. Now let's take a look at each one of these. This is the model number SX3802, and they're calling this their Magnesium Composite Impact Wrench, 3/8 drive Magnesium Composite Impact Wrench. So as you might have guessed, this is made of magnesium and then a composite material as well. It weighs very little. In fact, we'll weigh it here in a moment. It's also pretty small. As you can see, pretty much my hand is bigger than the whole head of the impact wrench. Easy to use, one-handed operation as far as forward and reverse. Also, there's your throttle, or not really your throttle. Your trigger is going to work as a throttle, but also you can kind of set the max, if you will. You can tone that down if you need to, with different speeds that are adjustable, or again, all the way over is going to be reverse. So that's your switching forward and reverse, as well as your max throttle, and then your throttle here, your trigger is going to give you that variable speed delivery as well. 3/8 drive here on the front. It looks like a hog ring style or lock ring style anvil. From tip of the anvil to the back of the tool, about 5.5 inches. And then as far as width, just over 2 inches, maybe 2.25 inches. And then as far as height on the tool, just short of 7 inches. Of course, if we had a nipple on there, a 3/8 nipple, by the way, this is going to be a 3/8 air hose, or recommended for a 3/8 air hose. And again, full height on that. It's probably going to be over 7 inches once you have a 3/8 nipple on there. Now let's get a weight on this. It's going to be rather light, especially when you're not dealing with a battery or anything else. And yeah, 2 pounds, 4.5 ounces. Add the nipple on there, so let's call it 2 pounds, 5 ounces for that tool. And as far as power delivery, you're looking at 600 foot-pounds of breakaway torque, and I believe what they're calling working torque or tightening torque is going to be 400 foot-pounds. So a lot of power in a little small package, and going to get a lot of speed on this with it being air driven at 10,000 RPM. Now the price on this is right at $100. So $100 all in. You don't have to buy a battery. Yes, you need an air compressor. Yes, it's going to feed off of air pressure, obviously. But again, really handy 3/8 drive unit there, and very inexpensive as well. Also very light at less than 2.5 pounds. You also get a 1-year warranty on this tool. Now let's check out the next one. Going to be kind of the big brother here of this in a 1/2 inch drive. So it's definitely not the same unit with just a 1/2 inch drive. Quite a bit of size difference there. And by the way, this is going to be 1,650 foot-pounds of breakaway torque. And I believe they're claiming like 750 foot-pounds of working torque or tightening torque as well. Same type of reverse and forward switch, as well as kind of max throttle back here. So one-handed operation. And then again, you're going to have that trigger or throttle to be able to throttle that even more with your variable speed there as well. Again, this is going to feed off of a 3/8 air hose, just like the smaller brother there, the 3/8 drive, and a max of 10,000 RPM as well. Now let's get a weight on this one. So still under 4 pounds, 3 pounds, 11 ounces. That's like 3 3/4 pounds. And as far as size on this one, you're looking at about 7 inches long. And on the width spectrum, almost 3 inches, about 2 3/4, maybe 2 7/8 of an inch. And then as far as height goes, a little over 7 inches once you put that 3/8 nipple on there. Again, 1/2-inch drive hog ring style anvil. And the price on this is going to run $180. And again, a 1-year warranty on that also. Now, stepping into the 3/8 drive. Again, part of their Magnesium Composite impact wrench series. So even though for a mammoth of a 3/4 inch pistol grip gun, usually these are quite heavy, it's coming in rather light compared to most others in the industry. Now this is also going to drive off of a 3/8 air hose. Now our next step up will probably be on a 1/2-inch air hose, but this one's still going to feed off your 3/8. However, definitely not using a 1/4 inch nipple, using a 3/8 inch nipple. As you can see there on the inlet side, it is a larger size. So definitely want a high flow nipple on there, and you probably want to make sure you're using a high flow hose on that as well. So making sure you've got a 3/8 hose, not a 1/4 inch hose on that when you're driving this one. This is going to consume quite a bit of air. Now, unlike the 10,000 RPM max of these, this has got a max of 6,500 RPM. But as far as power delivery on this, you're looking at 2,400 foot-pounds of breakaway torque and 1,600 foot-pounds of tightening torque. Again, the same kind of one-handed operation, although a little bit harder to turn this one. Still not crazy tough to do, but there is quite a bit of resistance there to overcome with your forward and with your reverse. And then again, you can set kind of that max throttle output, if you will, here with this dial, and then feather it where you need to with the trigger, with the throttle. This is going to have your 3/4 inch hog ring style anvil, and our next step up will be a 1 inch. Now, pricing on this one is going to run $350, again with a 1-year warranty. Now let's get a weight on this one. A little bit heavier unit, 6 pounds 12 ounces, so 6 3/4 pounds on this guy here. And then size on it from the front of the anvil to the back, about 8.5 inches. As far as height goes, with the nipple, probably going to be 8.5 inches there as well. And then width-wise, a little bit wider at probably about 3 3/8, 3.5 inches wide. And again, pricing on that $350 and 1-year warranty. And then the big dog when it comes to the pistol grip. So this is a pretty big boy right here. So it also comes with an auxiliary handle or a secondary handle here. So this is going to have 2,700 foot-pounds of breakaway torque. We have a 1 inch hog ring style anvil here on the front. So it's going to lock those sockets on without any pins. And you also have the pin hole as well. So if you want to run a pin detent or want to run a pin and O-ring, you definitely can. Most of the time with those 1 inch large sockets, you usually run a pin also. Makes it a little easier to pull those off. However, that hog ring is going to retain that. And then here, a little bit different on the speed control, because now rather than having a 1-finger operation, this is going to be 2 hands. So you have 1, 2, and 3 as far as speeds go. And then on the forward side, and then on reverse, you basically have speed 3. So max RPM in reverse, and then speeds 1, 2, and 3 here on the forward side. And again, going to have that variable speed trigger on, applying that air pressure to the tool, and max RPM of just 6,000 RPM. But again, delivering 2,700 foot-pounds of breakaway torque. Even with that second handle, that's really not too bad, but let's get a better idea here of what this weight is. Again, quite a bit different than these other models we've been looking at. Yeah, 12 pounds, 10 ounces, so almost 12 3/4 pounds for this guy. And then as far as size goes, length with the anvil, a little over 10 inches. And then width on this is a little over 4 inches. And height, it's going to be about 10 plus inches with an air inlet or with a nipple on there as well. This is going to be recommended on a 1/2-inch air hose. So again, you're going to have to make sure that you have a compressor that can deliver the goods, the amount of volume that this needs to run, because it's going to continuously need that as you're pulling that trigger on this big guy. But man, what a beast if you need it. Definitely a great idea if you're needing that high torque type of impact wrench. $465 for this beast here. And then finally, the really big guy. This is the SX01026, and it's the 1-inch, 6-inch extended anvil magnesium composite impact wrench. This is definitely going to recommend a 1/2-inch air inlet and 1/2-inch air hose. A little bit different configuration here. And you're going to have your forward and reverse switch right here, which can really be operated from either side, although the auxiliary handle can only be installed from the left side here, but you can switch this from either side. And again, switching from either reverse at max or 3 different speeds in forward. And as far as power goes, you're looking at 3,200 foot-pounds of breakaway torque and 2,000 foot-pounds of tightening torque on this guy. Large trigger here. Again, your air inlet here out the back with an angle on it. Max RPM is 5,500 on this, and as far as size goes on it, I don't really think it matters because I don't think you're caring about size when it comes to breaking out this one. About 23 inches once you look at the tip of the anvil all the way back to like an air inlet on there, but of course a socket on the end of that, you're going to add another couple of inches as well. Just to give you an idea, width is going to be about 4.5 inches, but with the handle, you're going good 8 inches also. And then as far as weight goes, and again, a heavy unit, but not near as heavy as the old extended anvils that you would use. Yeah, that felt like they were 30 pounds. This one's still sub 16 pounds, so 15 3/4 pounds on this one. And again, max RPM of 5,500. And pricing on the big 1-inch extended anvil is going to be $550, and again, a 1-year warranty. So let's recap on this. $100 for the 3/8 drive, $180 for the 1/2-inch drive magnesium composite. And then jumping up to the 3/4-inch drive is going to run you $350, $465 for the 1-inch pistol grip, and then $550 for the extended anvil 1-inch. Again, 3/8 air hose on 3 of these, and then 1/2-inch recommended on the 2 1-inch beasts. Check them out from SUNEX Tools. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. Have a great day. Keep smiling.